2021 has been a very special year in Baha'i history. 25 years of effort since 1996 have been crowned with the launch of a brief but potent one-year plan. A central feature of this plan is the strengthening of programs of growth in all places in preparation for the 9-year plan to be launched at Rizwan 2022.
And this year has also been a time of special reflection on the life of Abdu'l-Baha, the center of the covenant, and perfect exemplar to whom we all turn for guidance. The centenary in 2016 of the revelation of the Tablets of the Divine Plan marked the beginning of a period of special potency, to which drew to a close a month ago as we marked the centenary of the ascension of Abdu'l-Baha and entered into the 2nd century of the formative age of the faith.
At Rizwan 2021, the Universal House of Justice announced the 3rd epoch of the Master's Divine Plan had begun. The councils of the North and South Islands, along with our respective institute boards, feel it is timely to reflect on the many aspects of the plan which have enabled so many souls to become connected to Baha'u'llah.
3 areas in particular stand out: engaging whole families, seeing everyone as a protagonist, and arising to serve as a pioneer. In the video you're about to see, we talked to some friends from clusters around our 2 regions to hear their experiences in these 3 vital aspects of the plan.
We hope the brief insights they offer will spur not only fruitful conversations at your summer school, but inspire you to arise in Abdu'l-Baha's footsteps and redouble your efforts as the 9-year plan begins.
The McDonald's family.
Hi, I'm Sharzan. This is Noor, Bayan, and Lex. And we've had the blessing of having classes for the spiritual education of children in our home for the past 2 years. It all started around Noor when she turned 5 and she went to school. And because she really enjoyed the classes, she wanted to constantly invite her friends over. We consulted with our teaching team, who predominantly are from our neighborhood, and basically family really, and how we're going to support one another in order to run this activity at our home. And the classes grew quite rapidly, from having 4 children at the beginning to 6 to now 10, and we now have a grade 1 here and a baby and toddlers group. And that development has happened because of the when we started with our teaching team, we've already had teachers, but transition in the teachers, and now currently Lex and I are running that grade 1 at the moment.
What I like is the fact that, you know, we send our children to school to learn about the academic stuff, but they don't get taught how to be kind to one another. They don't get taught about the values of a good human being, and this is the reason why I wanted her to come here. Although they pick a topic, they have a story, or you do activity with them, but when they go away, they do take away a little bit of that, and then as they, in their day-to-day life, when they do come across it, they, like, often she'll come up to me and she'll say, I did this, and that was quite kind, or someone did this to me, and that was quite kind. So they are applying it. So I'm hoping that by her continuing, she can have that in her life and she herself become a better human being. So yeah, that's what I look forward to.
We've learned that through Noor, and how she's been so welcoming and engaging and loving towards her friends, as that's how we also needed to do with the families that were coming, and our conversations with the parents has been quite open and frank and organic at the same time, and we explained what these classes were, and really they just were quite open and they wanted to bring their children to the space, and it hasn't stopped. So when they come, they attend the classes, they sit in sometimes, or they've been participating in the conversations prior to the classes, and that has been quite lovely actually. So one of the key learnings for us has been this relationship that's been developed over time, that it's no longer an us and them or our service that we're providing. It's actually really a community or neighborhood activity or service that we're doing for our children in the neighborhood.
Hi, this is Marcela, mom of Kyla and Lucila. We joined the children classes almost a year and a half ago. We found out through Shasha and Lex about the classes, and I remember seeing these kids getting ready after school with big smiles and very excited to participate of the children classes. So my daughter asked me if she could participate, and after talking to Shasha, we decided to join in. As soon as we got there, we felt really welcome. There was this happy energy, and everyone was just so happy to get together. So very quickly it became one of the favorite things for my girls to do. So they couldn't wait for Fridays to be part of this group. And I could see how the bond between the kids were getting stronger, and the families as well. The parents were getting involved, and we become like a little family. So also I could see how all these activities and the fun things that we were doing were helping our girls, and even between each other they were reminding through school all the things that they were learning. So that was really positive.
Yeah, we've been really blessed to have that connection with the families that attend the classes, and the ideas that they bring, and the different activities that they take on really helps take off pressure with the planning, and it really makes the whole process really enjoyable. And we reflect afterwards with them on how it went, and there are sometimes there are really good days, and other days that are a little bit more challenging, but it's great that we can reflect with them on those things together.
So the things that I treasure a lot, me and Ernie, we treasure a lot, is the human connections and how our friendship grows so much. I knew Lex and Shaz through Ernie, and Ernie knows Shaz through work. So it's wonderful how our friendship progresses, and that that's what we really cherish, is that through kindness and the connections that we have are really special.
Our future plans are, we really hope to be able to expand on the devotions, to be able to have sort of a rotating devotions where we can go to the families and share this lovely space with them as well. And also hoping to get the parents that are currently involved in the planning of the classes to really partake in the really curriculum.
The activity that we so good at running at the moment is the final days, where we invite families to come and celebrate any events that we have. It's either children's festival, celebration, or just coming together and build relationship and have kai. And
after the third final day in the summer, we decided to have a camp at Aradaki, and everybody studied about the Baha'i books.
Yeah. And it's a lovely new hall, a wonderful venue where everyone coming together organically. Food, as Lily just described. No, it's just what it is, whānau. Really family.
Oh
West Coast cluster and the Tetai cluster, which involves Nelson and Richmond districts. We find that these collaborations are extremely important. For a cluster in the West Coast, which consists of about 20 Baha'is, every one of them so isolated. Many of them are seniors in ill health, unable to travel. And so most of the activities are borne by just few individuals, each one doing their best and saying prayers for the rest of the cluster and doing their own teaching in the small ways they could possibly, incorporate. The collaboration between two clusters makes the population more than double, and therefore we can call upon the resources from one another's cluster whenever it is needed. We were able to travel to Nelson to assist few new Baha'is to do book 1, and we are in the process of starting book 2, and so that they can be taken through the streams of the Ruhi Institute process. And these collaborative activities are vital for each cluster to become stronger year by year. And what's important is each cluster now has a cluster reflection meeting on a regular basis. The nature of the collaboration starts from the time when Sula and myself pioneered to West Coast, especially to Reefton. And when we reached there, we needed to find out what are the needs in the community, how can we be of assistance to the community. So we sought out some of the community leaders, some of the seniors, and some of the people that have best interest of our Reefton community at heart, and consulted with them and found out what is the one most important thing they would like to see happen in Reefton, and how can they help us achieve this goal. And that is how the collaboration started. Each time a need arises in the community, then the community, some of these individuals who act as a protagonist, and most of them are friends of the faith, and yet they understand Sula and I are Baha'is, but this is not a religious program, but a service to community. So who really inspired us to do it? And this is all from associated with the centenary of the passing of Abdul Baha, and it's all attributed to from the lives examples of Abdul Baha, and that is to serve the community without any distinctions. One of the most common link between the collaborators is the Baha'i institutions, the like of assistants, cluster institute coordinators, connection with the auxiliary board members, and connection with the Regional Baha'i Council, as well as Regional Institute Board. Each one of these institutions, when they come together and we study different writings and different settings, understand about service to humanity, what does that entail, new ideas come about, and during these ideas is when we form friendships, a fellowship. But as we consult with the community and with other individuals, when we find individuals who are like-minded, we bring them together into a group, further the consultation, gel the consultation into an idea that is applicable, and as a result, we implement it. Through consultation, through collaboration, finding like-minded people to come together. We have over 25 to 30 individuals, friends of the faith in Reefton, who all acknowledge that Sula and I are Baha'is, And these are some of the Baha'i initiatives, yet there is no directly talking about the Baha'i faith. But every now and then the topic will come out where they ask simple questions as to understand what inspires you to do this, and that is our means of telling the people. But more important so is through this collaboration, the activities are increasing. They come up with the idea and we have a venue to implement those ideas. That we have individuals from Reefton traveling to Richmond and Nelson frequently, helping with firesides, helping with the Colombian Youth Project, helping with other teaching activities, and with their cluster reflection meetings. And likewise, some of the individuals from Richmond and Nelson come visit us in Reefton frequently to support us with our cluster reflection meeting and or camps and events that we host in Reefton. And this builds a very strong bond and tie between the two clusters, thereby each cluster is able to help the other. Further to that is also that within a Reefton community, because of that regular consultative process with the Friends of the Faith and the protagonists that are involved with some of the community building activities, what happens is new ideas emerge from these consultations. And these ideas are strengthened through individual initiatives from different people in the community. And the key learning that I've learned from this is that no project is beyond our reach, provided we involve in a process of consultation, collaboration with the blessings of the institutions. Even the resources that are absolutely scarce suddenly become available. For an example, we were looking, first suggestion that we got was to start a community kitchen where the meals in town are very expensive for an average person, and their cheapest meals are pie and coffee or fish and chips, which is not very healthy. And so if we had a community kitchen, that would help the community. But we couldn't find a place. We rent the kitchen from our home one day a week, but our kitchen is a little galley, and so we couldn't host more than 4 or 5 people. While looking for a suitable place, despite against all odds, we ended up finding a place which is known as Reefton Hideaway, and a few Baha'is came to party and put money to purchase that building. And from that building, we were not only able to do a community kitchen, we were also able to do a community garden, which is producing so much of vegetables. And a fruit garden has been established as part of the centenary of the passing of Abdul Baha, so that in the near future, children and families can have abundance of fruits to benefit them health-wise and better service to community. So this is what we've learned, that nothing is impossible with the divine confirmation. As long as there is unity, there is consultation, and there is collaboration, and all the protagonists are involved in it, then suddenly the resources become available. That's my learning from this project. Recently, after the flooding in West Coast, several families were struggling due to COVID, due to extensive rainfalls and everything else. And some of them didn't have work to go to for a period of 2 to 4 weeks, and the children were hungry. And whenever they talked to somebody of their predicament, they were directed or referred to the Reefton Hideaway, because we were able to help some of these needy communities. And very timely, the Canterbury Food Bank came into the picture, and delivered us a huge van load of food, which otherwise we will be struggling to help the community. So at the end of the day, now we have approximately 20 families that are regularly getting assistance. So this is a remarkable achievement for us, and it excites us and inspires us that there is so much more we can do. And the more we try to do, there are more people coming into the picture to come and help us, because they too agree with us that this is the prototype, this is the way we should live in a community, by helping each other.
Tēnā koutou katoa, aloha pā. My name is Lindsay Ola, and I'm the Pioneer Resource Coordinator for the Regional Baha'i Council of the North Island. It's an interesting title, Resource Coordinator, when really actually the resources that I'm working with are potentially all of you friends. I'm here today to share some general information about pioneering. But first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the pioneers that are out in the field at the moment that have moved mostly from during this 5-year plan. And then also to tell you how excited we're feeling about anticipating all the pioneers that will arise during the 9-year plan that is to come. So I'll be taking a few minutes to look at what it means to be a pioneer, and also to explain some of the processes that go into deploying, preparing and supporting a pioneer in the field. The objective of this is hopefully to generate some prayerful and reflective thinking on your part that might result in an inspired commitment to pioneering as we launch our new plan. For a definition of pioneering, I've referred to Lights of Guidance, page 572. The duties of teaching and pioneering are enjoined upon all believers. There are no special categories of believers for these functions. Any Baha'i who spreads the message of Baha'u'llah is a teacher, and any Baha'i who moves to another area to spread the faith is a pioneer. As a further distinction, there is international pioneering, where one leaves one's own country and moves to another for the purpose of proclaiming and promoting the faith, and homefront pioneering, where one moves to serve in a different area within the home country. There are other uses of the word pioneering in the context of neighbourhoods, where friends may move from their own neighbourhood to assist the growth in another specific neighbourhood within the same cluster. This often involves the establishment of a Baha'i pioneer house, where youth in particular have been able to offer full or part-time service to an area that's been chosen as a focus of growth. There is also short-term pioneering, where you may move to an area for 3 months or more, and long-term pioneering, which may be that you move and identify fully with a new area and remain there for a long period of time. Some pioneers talk about burying their bones in their pioneer post, for example. However, the wealth of writings on pioneering that were addressed to those early believers who mounted steeds of steadfastness, unfurled the banners of renunciation, and scattered far and wide to capture the unsurrendered territories of the entire planet, are equally inspiring and relevant to today's pioneers, be they international, homefront, short or long term. So imagining that you may soon be considering pioneering for the first time, I would like to share this beautiful description of pioneering. The work of the pioneer is the most important task an individual can perform. Its blessings are great. While it carries great responsibilities and difficulties, yet its spiritual blessings are so great, they overshadow everything else. And the opportunities for special victories of the faith so abundant. The soul who once tastes the elixir of pioneering service seldom will do anything else. That's from a letter written on behalf of Shoti Effendi to an individual believer in 1954. For those of you involved with Summer Initiative over January and February, the event can be considered an orientation for pioneering, as it offers the experience of working intensely in a neighbourhood setting. The writings actually draw special attention to the role of youth pioneers. We sincerely hope that in the forefront of the volunteers, the Baha'i youth will arise for the sake of God, and through their driving force, their ability to endure inhospitable and arduous conditions, and the contentment with the bare necessities of life, they will offer an inspiring example to the peoples and communities they set out to serve, will exert an abiding influence on their personal lives, and will promote with distinction the vital interests of God's cause at this crucial stage in the fortunes of the plan. And that was written quite a while ago, 1975, by the Universal House of Justice to all national spiritual assemblies. If pioneering is your next adventure in the path of service, it may help to consider the journey of a waka. In the early days of ocean exploration, especially the Pacific, a scout waka was often set out to explore and note the natural navigation signs that would assist the safe movement of subsequent waka, those setting out to settle in a new land. You can imagine your pioneer journey as setting out on your waka as a seeker of truth, bringing a divine message, riding the ocean of knowledge beneath the heaven of understanding. You set your sails towards the light of truth, and with the breeze of confirmation, follow the stars that lead aright. So finding out where you might be most needed, then taking at least one trip to consider all the options and get a feeling for the place is highly recommended. The Regional Baha'i Council and Pioneer Resource Coordinator can assist with finding information about schools, housing, jobs, can consult with you on any other considerations, or help identify any training or preparation that you may feel would be useful to undertake before you move. Don't fear that you're stepping out alone. There is support, undoubtedly of course from the Concourse on High, as well as the Regional Council, ABMs, other institutions of the faith, and fellow believers who love to visit and connect with pioneers. And of course there's always Zoom. Dear friends, we eagerly await to assist you, to help you remove any obstacles that may be hindering you from the bounty of this service. Let those who arise recall the Master's injunction to travel like Abdu'l-Baha, sanctified and free from every attachment and the utmost severance. That's taken from Universal House of Justice, Rizwan, 1966. Oh, that I could travel, even though on foot, in the utmost poverty to these regions, and raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts and oceans, promote the divine teachings. This, alas, I cannot do. How intensely I deplore it. Please God, you may achieve it. Abdu'l-Baha, Tablets of the Divine Plan.
Kia ora friends, greetings. Adrian and Jeff here from the beautiful Whitianga on the east coast of the Coromandel Peninsula, formerly from Waikato District.
Kia ora, I'm Ella and this is Taja and we're from the Thames Baha'i community.
Aloha friends, I'm Keijun.
And I'm Millie.
And we moved to Thames 3.5 years ago with our eldest son, Kyrie.
Well, a little while back, before my retirement, we were asked if we would think about moving to Whitianga. It was an easy decision. We already had a holiday place up here. We did like the community. So when our retirement came, off we came.
We had recently got married and had no ties to any locations. And so, yeah, we wanted to pioneer and centre our marriage around service.
Yeah, I think when you don't have many obligations, and we were in a very kind of transition stage in our lives, so it made a lot of sense for us to build a marriage centred around service. And, you know, there was a call out and they wanted pioneers to go spread across the country, so we chose Thames as it was relatively still close to our family, and also was a new place that needed some pioneers.
We came to Thames to Homefront Pioneer, obviously to try and fulfill the goals of the 5-year plan, but also commit to the long haul.
Whitianga is a very socially active community, and the locals seem to think it's got more groups, sports, social-minded groups than any place in New Zealand. So finding a group or fitting in with your interests is very easy here.
We've both taken up table tennis. I've joined the bridge club. The ladies come around once a week to play here, and the other 2 days we play at the club. Also joined a swimming group 3 weeks ago, and every day we're down there for a half an hour in the sea and do a few lengths.
And as a result of one of our friends coming to our weekly devotional meetings, I was invited to join a group, and we've called ourselves Te Ropo Whatu Kākahu. and it's making cloaks, and it's the first group of its kind to be founded here in Whitianga, and it's supported by Whitianga Social Services. And they're all Māori or part Māori women, so I felt quite honoured to be invited into that space and very much enjoying it and the social contacts that I've had from that group.
So our experiences so far, pioneering to Thames. So we've been here just over 2 years now. The first year was quite challenging, but we also saw a lot of confirmation. So, moving to a new town, we didn't know anyone, we didn't, have jobs, we kind of moved and just relied on having that trust in God that would be confirmed and find work and find friends and so on to naturally kind of integrate within the community. So that first year was quite challenging, but we did see confirmations within a week. We had a rental, which is extremely hard to find in Thames. I got a job after a few weeks. Ella is slowly been working her way up within an organisation where she's really happy, and we've integrated quite well. We're familiar faces in the community now. We know a lot of people, and a lot of people know us. And I think by being involved in, coming here with the purpose of building unity within the community, it accelerates that process of integrating into the community, getting to know people, making friends, and familiarising ourselves with the reality of the community, because I think it was very different to what we expected. You kind of drive through and you learn, where things are, but you don't know the dynamics of the different families, especially in small towns, and who's influential. And so that was, it's been a really positive experience so far.
We have started a devotional group here. We call it 3D. We have dinner, devotions, and then it always leads into a great discussion. We started that with Steve, who was a lone Baha'i up in this area. He's joined us there, and we've had some great results and a place to invite contacts that we make to come and join us.
And we invite our friends come to our holy days, and for the centenary, the Thames Coromandel community bought a beautiful big picnic table that was made locally and donated to one of our local community parks, which is run by a community group. And we've forged quite a nice relationship with the people that run that park. And so we're going to have a blessing with my Kākahu ladies as soon as the placards can be put in place.
Some of the confirmations that we received over that 3.5 year journey, I guess I'll just talk about the start, because that was a pretty interesting time. So I think it was my second visit to Thames. We were looking for a house, so I met with a local property manager who sort of showed us a few houses, but the houses didn't really fit with us and didn't allow us to bring our dog, etc. But one thing that did come from that connection was she recently left the social service field, and that's a field that I wanted to get into, working alongside youth. So she sat down, she said, look, I'm going to write a whole list of names and the managers and contact numbers of everyone in Hauraki, and then you can go and give them a call and let them know that I suggested, you give them a bell for some job opportunities. So that's what I did. I went back to my parents' house where we were staying in Hamilton and just called through the list. And there was one lady on that list who was at Te Korowai Hauora Hauraki, a kaupapa Māori organisation. And she said, come over and meet with me, and we'll talk about your interest, your passion, and maybe we can look at what that might look like in the future. So I did that. While I went and visited that lady out, we also met with another property manager to try and find a house. We secured a house which was really lucky because housing is sort of a shortage around here. So we said yes. She said, you need to move in at this time. So we said, okay, even though I didn't have a job. And so we moved, and it was a week later that I got a call back from that lady, and she said, look, there's been a job come up, working alongside youth in schools, and we'd really like you to come back in and have another interview and see if that would interest you. And so yeah, I was really excited. We sort of took a bit of a risk to come over into a home without employment, but we were also very lucky that we had the support of the local spiritual assembly at the time, which was awesome. And yeah, I went to that job interview. It went really well, and I've been working there ever since.
If you're thinking of pioneering, clearly you're familiar with the importance of really integrating into the life of the community, and understandably that's going to take some time and be quite a process. So if you're committed for the long haul, just in the lead up, kind of advise to consult with institutions, of course, but include your family in that discussion, and just to really explore all the different aspects of life and service, like your skills and talents, career aspirations, family kind of plans, because you don't want to make like just a dichotomous choice based upon a few things. You want to, as much as possible, think about the whole picture, so that that can be covered. We've been really blessed to find like all areas of like our life has been like amazingly confirmed, and that has just contributed to so much of our joy and ability to serve and remain steadfast through crisis and victory, because we feel like it's been one of the best decisions of our lives.
We've been living in Auckland for 27 years, and we came here about 7.5 years ago.
We came from Auckland about 7 months ago.
From Auckland.
From Auckland.
From Papakura, to be precise.
I think we always wanted to move out of Auckland because the sector that we've been is a very big sector and everyone is so active. We felt that actually we have lots of people who can run core activities such as children classes and study circle and so forth. So we thought that we have lots of resources in here. What we can do is just move out and see what we can do outside that region.
We wanted to come to a place that actually needed pioneers. Obviously, Auckland community is great, but there are too many of us, so we were just kind of looking for opportunities to be able to be of more focused service. And well, Queenstown has everything. You can make a living and also be in a community not more than 12.5 Baha'is.
One day we received a call from the councillor, Ellen Wicock, and then we don't know why that the next day we say yes, because he asked us whether we want to come down to Queenstown to pioneer, and we say yes the next day. And then after that we thought whether is that right or not, because Queenstown is not the Asian place, but then it seems to be Ellen was saying, don't worry, just go down.
By moving to a new place, actually you find new people. You find people who never heard name of the faith, and I've experienced it. When you tell them, this is, oh, what is it? Tell us about it.
Educational background, work backgrounds, racial backgrounds, upbringing. We're all like, couldn't be more different to each other, but we work so beautifully together.
Wherever you go, we do the same core activity, so you feel connected. Doesn't matter where you're living or where you're going, because you follow the same plan. As the Baha'is in USA or in Malaysia, they're all following the same plan. So you don't feel you're alone. You still feel you're part of the huge community.
We were always longing for more, Baha'i workforce, more pioneers, because with 4 or 5, you can only do this much. And sure enough, I mean, once the intention was there and they were, praying for it, and it happened, a family came from US and then more people came from Auckland.
But when we got here, everything worked out so well, so quick, such as finding a job which was so unexpected. And things work out. As we said, we've been here only for 6 or 7 months, but we settled in. We are very comfortable, and yeah, so happy to be here. I couldn't believe, I wasn't expecting it to be that easy.
But one of the biggest milestones was the formation of the first ever local assembly.
Yes. Local Spiritual Assembly in Queenstown, and its history.
And that really gave us a lot of hope, and it was like a realization of a lot of prayers.
We had few of us got together and decided what to do, where to start. It's because I personally wasn't involved in that process in my life, so it was a very first time to start local spiritual assembly in a place. And so we got together, we studied the writings, we studied the guidance from the National Spiritual Assembly, and then for us, for all the friends in here, it was a big thing, and we want to do it in the best way possible.
I think if you have the intention to settle in a place that needs pioneers, other things just fall into place.
I don't want to contemplate on concourse on high, but I think I was
we
something.
Could feel something is everywhere we go. We could feel the presence.
Really, the divine assistance. It's there.
You're always thinking there are lots of people in Auckland or in big cities like Wellington and Christchurch, and if 2 or 3 families get together and move to the area that there is no Baha'is, imagine everyone in New Zealand can hear the name of the faith. There are lots of people who haven't heard.
If you think of pioneering, don't hesitate. Just arise, and you will see doors open.
Anyone that wants to pioneer, just do it. It's like so easy, really. There's nothing difficult about pioneering. You just decide, and the hardest part is to decide. You just decide and just do it, as Nike says.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Your intention is service, everything works out. You don't have to be worried about anything. Abdul Baha is with you.